All right. Now I just broke the recording into two parts. Now the second part will be visualizing your data set using two packages here. First is matplotlib. So previously you saw matplotlib for array, right? So you have in your data set in the form of matrix. You can use matplotlib to visualize them. So similarly, we are going to use, okay, for example, of course, we can use straight away use matplotlib, right? For example, here, you see, here, I did not call any kind of matplotlib's function, right? Rather, I just straight away used grades new dot plot kind bar, right? So what it means is that this grades new, in fact, it's the type of grades new. It's not even an array. Rather, it is, if you still remember, it is a data frame, right? So let's look at the type. You see, the type is actually data frame. So the data frame here comes with some sort of like matplotlib behind it, where you can just directly plot it. So that is the beauty of using Pandas. So it's already integrated, right? So dot plot kind bar, just shift enter, then you get to see all the students' marks based on the course, right? So very nice, very much automated, right? So in case if you want to just look at one mark, for example, y equals to MAT181, so it gives you now this time around the y value, the y here just the marks for MAT181, right? We can do box plot. Yeah, grades dot box plot, as simple as that. Yeah. Okay, there you go. So you get to see like MAT181. This is the box plot for 181. So MAT181, the average of marks, and the marks goes from like 40 plus to 80. And then MAT161, it's kind of higher. The lowest mark is about 60 to 80 plus, right? And then MAT100 is about in between. See, you can quickly look at the data. There is also so-called an outlier, right? An outlier for MAT100, which one student got 20 marks only. Okay, so you can quickly understand about the data by using box plot. And then also scatter plot. Scatter plot, for example, in two-dimensional space, you have x value and y value. So you define them. X value, I want MAT181. Y value, MAT161. I can even customize further. Color, for example, rate, and shift enter. This is what you get to see. So 181 against 161. Let's look at it. Now, 161, the lowest mark is this one here, right? About 30 plus, right? And this student got marks for MAT 181, about maybe for 50 plus, right? 50 plus. And so-called good students. Good students means in student marks with the MAT 181 and MAT 161. High marks for them for it. For example, here, these two students here. The two students got MAT 181, which is a programming course, very high, and they also got MAT 161, which is a statistic course, very high. Okay, these students are very good, fits well for data science, for example. So you can make some sort of inference just by looking at one scatter plot. This is called scatter plot. And next is histogram. Basically, we want to see the frequency and distribution. So grades new dot HIST, which stands for histogram. So of course we have three columns, so we get to see three small boxes representing histogram. Let's look at the distribution. MAT181 is kind of less cute. MAT161, somewhat not bad. Somewhat looks like normal distribution where it's like a bell shape, right? Bell shape. Okay, maybe if you feel like just want to look at one particular column, just name the column. For example, here MAT181, which is pretty much skewed to high marks, right? Okay, this is how it looks like. Now, that's also called the built-in package. Yeah, for data frame, as I said, Matplotlib is already built in, integrated with the data frame. You can quickly call and then directly visualize. Whereas you can also do it with Seaborn. Visualize with Seaborn. Seaborn is kind of integrated with a lot of statistical tools in there. Right. First, of course, you have to install it. Yeah. In my machine, I've already installed. In any case, if you want to install a particular version, then you put the versions number with the version, right? So here you might don't want, if you put it this way, it's going to install the latest version. So if I shift enter for my machine, I have 1.13 installed. Okay, so install, it takes very short. So once you have installed it, you can start playing with it. Okay, so I have installed and then I have imported in my notebook as SNS representing Seaborn, right? Okay, print SNS dot that get data set. Okay, what it does, basically get data set names. Actually in Seaborn, there are a lot of data set already available where we can download it, use it for whatever like learning for a particular machine learning method. So you can just use directly this data set rather than finding our own data set, right? So anagrams, attention, brain networks, car crashes, diamonds, all these are data frames. Let's get one data frame in our machine, a car crash. SNS load dataset car crash. Of course, the name I got it from where? Right here. And choose whichever you want. Right, okay, I'm getting loading car crash, loaded here, car crash. Let's have a look at it. If you shift enter, you get to see. In car crash, there are many columns, and the observations are how many? About 50 observations. Rather than looking at the table, you can just dot info, right? I have what, 51 entries? I have what, 8 columns? Okay, these are the columns with the type, data type. One is abbreviation. This is probably in the form of string, and the rest is just a number, right? Real numbers. Okay, all right. So that's what you saw on top here, right? So the last one, as you can see, abbreviation. Okay, abbreviation, the car crash. Okay. All right. Now plotting. Crash versus, of course, the crash data is crash. So SNS distribution plot represents this plot. I want to look at the alcohol. KDE represents kernel density estimation. Basically, we want to look at the distribution. There are many ways we can draw the distribution. So one of it is kernel density estimate. So this is how the alcohol content for those car crashes. Okay. Right. Now, maybe you want to do for two, rather than one column. You want to go to two, which is one is speeding, the other alcohol. Let's see. If you can see here, so for the one here, one is alcohol, the other one is speeding, and we get to see in between scatter plot. As you can see, speeding is very much related. Yeah, it increases as alcohol content increases. People with, I don't know, people with who drank more alcohol tend to speed. That's what I can make. I can conclude from this data, right? In fact, you can do a regression out of it by just putting kind regression. So you get to see the regression line. This is how the regression line fits well. In fact, yeah. Okay. And then of course you can do pair plot. So when you do pair plot, you get to see all distribution against each other. Just want to see how they are related. Speeding, alcohol, not distracted, previous maybe classes and insurance premium, insurance losses, and etc. Okay, it's all about car crash data. Of course, you can always go to the website SNS website, Seaborn's website, and read about the data. They have explanation about the data so that you know about the data, and then you can use for a particular machine learning method. Now, next data set, tips. Okay, let's look at the data. Okay, this is tips data set. Probably in a restaurant, they keep track about the customer, female, male, whether the person smoke or not, whether it was on what day, and then time, dinner or lunch, and the size of the group. Okay, then total bill, the tips that they gave, keeping track of the tips. Okay, let's look at the pair plot. Okay, so how this is about correlation, how they are related to each other. And then if maybe I want to look at one particular plot, sex, because here hue sex equals to sex simply means I have two types, right? It's very much categorical. One is male and the other one is just female. So we will just like look at each other. Okay, then male and female. Right, then counter plot. So I have in fact counter plot, sorry, based on sex. I have male about less than 160, female is about 80. Well, let's look at the total bill. Male tend to buy more than female, but not much difference. And then this is based on total bill and smoker. So smoking for female very much half, male of course more. And box plot. Let's look at box plot. Okay, these are box plot based on days, right? You're going to see the difference between days. For example, Saturday and Sunday, they have more customers as compared to Thursday and Friday, right? Of course, then we also can see total bill. Some are really spent like $50, right? Okay. All right. So more examples. Yeah, more examples with the different values. Okay. This time around male and female. And another interesting entity that we want to look at will be, of course, just now we did a scatter plot to look at the correlation between two or more columns, right? In fact, we can straight away calculate, right? Calculate, for example, so the crash data set, CORR represents correlation actually, correlation value. So there are many methods. One of the methods is Pearson value. And I want to look at the values. We shift enter. So I'm actually storing the matrix as crash MX. So this is the values, right? For example, alcohol and speeding. Alcohol and speeding. I got to say like 60, 70%, 60, 70, 0.669. Okay, the Pearson value, right? So of course, this is in the form of a matrix. Rather looking at the form of matrix or table, we can certainly just visualize it using heat map. Okay, heat map basically it is every single entry is colored based on the value. Right? For example, speeding against just not speeding against speeding against the alcohol. Yeah, this one here. Speeding against alcohol is actually 0.67 as you saw earlier. So by looking at here, high correlation is number of previous versus total. That's very high correlation. Number of years versus next one would be 0.85, which is alcohol and then total. Okay, maybe that is total crashes. So we can see which column or which feature has high correlation. All right, so this is a simple exploratory data analysis. Yeah, EDA, exploratory data analysis. We just look at the statistics, we can plot, visualize a little, slice a little, have a look at it, see what sort of data that we are dealing with. We do box plot simply, like you can quickly identify the outliers and etc. Right, so the next topic is in fact on exploratory data analysis. So enjoy, download the rest of your, there are many data set available. Just now I showed you, look at it, visualize it, understand it, read a little in their website. All right, happy exploring.